Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Celestia Radio's Canterlot Cross-Fade. Get your bodies ready, ponies, it's time for the most profane, unadulterated, uncensored 2 hours your mind can fucking handle. Just two dudes talking news, events, music, and what the fuck ever else we can think of. Canterlot Cross-Fade, starting right now on Celestia Radio.
Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen, fillies and gentle colts, whatever slang you want to use for the KBrony fandom. I am your host, well, one of them at least, DJ KBrony, of course, joined with owner and operator of Celestia Radio, DJ Shamrock. How you doing, man?
What's up, every pony? I'm doing fantastic today. Glad to be bringing you a brand new Cross-Fade here on Celestia Radio. It's been a bit skittery the last month or so as far as our scheduling. Things have been happening. BronyCon happened, all kinds of crazy shit. But hopefully we'll have a bit of more steady flow now. Things are calming down. The con season is ending slowly, and we'll get into Season 4 in another month.
Woo, we're almost there. Thank
almost.
God.
Just hang on a little bit longer. We'll get there.
Slowly but surely. Of course, let's see. Shamrock, you finally got to move some of your work hours around, so now you're not doing the Deadeye shift.
Yeah, I'm not totally fucked up now. I get to work swing shift now, Tuesday through Saturday, so 3 to 11. It's kind of my ideal time of the day to work, because I can wake up, like afternoon, fall out of bed, get around, go to work, come back, and be up all night. And so it works pretty well for me.
Awesome. And I have school started for me. I'm in my senior year now. Huzzah. Cross country too. So life hit me like a fucking ton of bricks pretty quickly. So that slowed us down. But I think I'm starting to get into the groove of it a little bit now that you've got your hours. I've kind of got my routine. I think CCF can be a little bit more frequent now. Of course, this is episode 4, technically speaking, and you can always catch these episodes re-uploaded on the Celestia Radio YouTube. You may be wondering, why haven't I seen some episodes, and where is episode 3 if this is episode 4? Well, the last time we did this, we had Void was over in Kansas, and Sham, why don't you kind of, we had some clusterfuckiness going on last time we did this, certainly.
Yeah, basically, I can't remember. We tried to do Sam on my computer, and or did we try and do it on your? I think we tried to do it on yours first, right?
Yeah.
And it was like fucked up for some reason, and so they might have been connection or something. I don't know. But then Void was here, and I was like, well, shit. We had like 5 minutes left, and like Void was sitting over here. He's like, I have my laptop and all my engineering gear for this. He had this huge crate full of a clusterfuck of stuff, like mixer and all this shit. And I was like, grab that shit. Let's go. Hurry up. So he runs out there, gets all the shit. We have to get all the files that I had on my computer, send them over to him, back and forth. And it went a little bit over. I can't remember. We were like
we
10
started
minutes
like
over or something.
No, not even. We were like 30 minutes late when we finally got to doing the
It's pretty
show.
bad. So it was good that everybody was with us, but yeah, it was pretty crazy.
So that is why you did not. That's why that episode of Canterlot Cross-Fade is not on the YouTube. So do not panic when you're looking through our playlist and you see episode 1, episode 2, episode 4. That is intentional. So don't flip. With that, though, we got a pretty awesome show coming up now that we've kind of discussed where the hell we have been as of recent. Real life is a bitch, after all. We definitely verified that last night. But
yeah.
But, we got a great show in store that we're just still in this really, really awkward in-between time. How did you describe it? It's been too long since Equestria Girls to talk about Equestria Girls, and we're still not close enough to Season 4 to talk about Season 4.
Yeah, we've passed the point where people care about Equestria Girls anymore, and we're not that few weeks out of Season 4 where everyone is fucking like really hyped about and like hypothesizing and thinking about what the hell is going to be happening. we'll sprinkle some of that in. There's some stuff in the news we're going to talk about, but yeah, it's just sort of this blank zone where there's nothing there. And so today we decided that given this hoof sounds extension, which we're going to talk about later, all these new people we're seeing at the station now, new people working for us, people listening, that it would be a great moment to take a pause and look back on everything that CR has been and is and what it will be, sort of in the future for all those new people, maybe for some old ones that remember all the good times we had and stuff like that. So we're gonna have some in-depth stuff. We're actually gonna get to talk with former owner KBrony. He's gonna be joining us in our call here in the next after the break, and it's gonna be awesome. So we're gonna talk about all the little funny things and joke around. It's gonna be a good show. So.
I mean, we're talking about our livelihoods more or less, so we're gonna have a lot to draw from at least. Not like some of the other topics that we've done. We're like, oh god, what the fuck am I going to talk about next? How can I drag this out for 24 minutes? But I don't think that's going to be a problem. Of course, if you're not familiar with how Canterlot Cross-Fade works, of course, this is CCF, where censorship can go FCC itself. You can catch it every Sunday, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time here on Ponify.me. Of course, it's mostly a talk show that we kind of theme it off of a radio-based talk show. We got radio commercials, radio breaks, news, weather reports, all that great jazz. So it's about as real as a radio broadcast as you can get in the Brony fandom. So hopefully that's your thing. If not, then I encourage you to give it a try, see it. A lot of people don't really think about how radio can be entertaining anymore, which is kind of unfortunate. But that's something that Celestial Radio tries to bring to the table. That fresh atmosphere of, radio can still be slightly entertaining, and we can make it themed around ponies. And there is a difference just between playing music on an auto DJ and calling yourself a radio station, and then what we're trying to do here and calling it a radio station. So that's kind of what we'll get into today. Of course, we also like to showcase some music. We always play some of the newer songs by some fantastic, either classic or up-and-coming artists. We got 2 great songs that we're going to throw into the mix today. Of course, you can find those songs and links in the show description here on the YouTube if this is where you're watching this. And, of course, you can purchase them on their respective Bandcamps. It's really worth the while. They're great songs, so highly encourage it. With that, Shamrock, did I miss anything? I feel like that was pretty covered about what's going to be going on today.
Absolutely. I think that pretty much covers it. It's going to make a really good show. Probably one of the best ones yet, so I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are too. Again, you can join us in the IRC if you're listening by going to www.ponify.me/chat. Secondarily, you could also get on any IRC client that you happen to have, jump on the server canternet.org, and jump into the room Celestial Radio. That is that's /join space #CELESTIARADI. You can also check us out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all kinds of cool things, and chat with us on the show as we're doing it. So I suggest you guys go check those things out and listen in any way that you can.
Couldn't have said it better myself. The IRC is where a lot of the magic happens. We've got people new, people old. Actually got ever since this Hoof Sounds extension came out, which of course we said that we'd be going into some more detail when it comes to our news portion of the show. We've just been seeing a great influx of folks coming over from that, as well as PVL. But same with our chat too, because they kind of have the chat extension on there as well. So we've been kind of lingering in the 50s range as far as people that have been in the chat, and now we're up to 75. And it always cracks me up. We always have about 25% more people just in the IRC than we do tuned into the radio. I feel like that's always just kind of been, not necessarily the curse of CR, but just kind of an aspect of it, that yes, there's always more people in the IRC.
Absolutely.
Some people just kind of live there. That's their home.
I just see someone say in the IRC that they've never heard Shamrock before. Well, now you have the opportunity. Here I am.
Shamrock in all of his glory. And of course, you haven't talked. Well, you talk on CC after you used to be Raging with the Rock, which maybe we can talk about that later as well.
Yeah.
But of course, this being a history of Celestia Radio kind of show, I mean, you used to be the station, more or less. So, your talking segments used to be a little more frequent and a little bit longer than they are now. And, it's going to be fun getting into the details of that back to, all the shows you did in the heyday, so to say.
Back in the heyday.
That's right. We're still doing the pony puns here.
Yeah, it's you can never have too many horse puns, so this is a show about horses, or at least it's a station about horses anyway, so.
So with that, I think we're going to take our first, I believe we got a commercial break and a music break coming up here. Yes, indeed we do. So this first, of course the commercials, but this first song that we have coming up is a brand new song from Pinkie Pie Swear. And he was a major player back in the early days of the fandom. We really haven't seen much from him in almost a year. That's kind of roughly the time frame we were looking at, I think, Sham. But he's got a brand new song called Luminescence, and it's fantastic sounding. What did you kind of compare it to, Shamrock?
It reminded me a lot of back in the day, quote unquote, when I was heavily into the Star Fox fandom. A lot of space music. It's got that sort of spatial, weird, floaty essence. I mean, Luminescence is a great name for the song, but it has that sort of deep space, lost, searching, exploring sort of sound to it. It really reminded me of a lot of the music that was fan-made for Star Fox back in the day. So any past fans of Star Fox might get some feelings like that as well.
All right, looking forward to it. So without further ado, Sham and I are going to take off for a moment. We'll be right back after this commercial and music break. Don't go anywhere right here on Canterlot Cross-Fade.
Hello, everybody. This is KBrony.
I'm Dragonite.
I'm Equestria Dude.
This is Castanade.
This is Dreamhawk.
And I'm Pony1 Kenobi, and we are the Beetle Bronies, and you're... Okay, doing the Liverpool accents was a bad idea.
It's
Yeah,
I'm sorry for even suggesting that.
Can I go home now?
Anywho, I'm Pony1 Kenobi, we are the Beetle Bronies, and
You're listening to Celestia Radio.
Want to deliver mail fast and safe? Try the Derpy Hooves Postal Service. Derpy personally handles each piece of mail like a child and will deliver it immediately. Unlike the Equestrian Postal Service, Derpy delivers mail every day of the week. Every pony loves Derpy's Postal Service. Just listen to these testimonials.
I don't know how, but my mail got to where it needed to go, and I got a muffin.
Derpy doesn't seem like the brightest pony in Equestria, but she is fast, and she gives us all muffins, which is cool too.
Well, the eyes are a very noticeable feature of Derpy, but she is extremely fast. My mail got to Canterlot from Ponyville in one day, and I got a muffin. What is it with that pony and muffins?
So instead of using Equestrian Postal Service, try Derpy Hooves, where your mail matters.
I say, my name is Silence, and I am a DJ, that is to say, a disc jockey. Looking for some entertainment to liven up your weekend scones and afternoon tea? Say no more. Take a seat by the fireplace and tune into my show, Loud Beats, Silent Brit, from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Seaboard Time, or 7 to 9 p.m. for the gentlemen in Greenwich Mean Time. I hope I'll see you there. Cheerio.
Celestia Radio. All pony, all the time.
Alrighty, folks, and we are back. DJK here, still joined with my co-host, GJ Shamrock. Of course, we are delving into the history of Celestia Radio for the main topic of this CCF. And, we're starting from beginning all the way to pretty much right now. And, of course, I wasn't here for more or less the first year of the station's existence. But there are two folks in this call that definitely were, so I'm going to hand it over to you, Shamrock, because I'm sure you know a hell of a lot more about this than I do.
Well, we, of course, are joining myself with former PR head for Celestia Radio, Karai. So, what's up, man?
Hello.
And how long has it been since you have spoken on the airwaves of Celestia Radio?
Oh, Christ. Probably a year and a half.
Pretty long time, of course, except for the sweeper, which everybody knows and loves, for to be doing to the sea ponies. That's this guy here.
I'm sorry that exists.
I'm not. It's a fucking fantastic thing. I'm actually, Katie is deferring to me, and I'm going to briefly defer to you, because you were there for about a month or two before. He's actually one of the three people from the very beginning of the station. There were three folks, four, I guess, if you count Prison. There's Karai here. He ran PR and all that bullshit. Of course, PH Pony, who has retained his co-owner status throughout the entirety of the station. And then Hooflander, of course, whose dead, buried skeleton is somewhere in the bowels of the caves underneath the Celestia Radio headquarters. Not totally sure where, collecting dust. Former owner, and then Prison, who jumps in every once in a while. But Karai, tell us a little bit about why and how and maybe when kind of thing.
Let's see, when was that? That would have been late April, early May of 2011 is when it officially started.
First pony radio station.
Very first, what happened was I was sitting at home, kind of doing nothing. I was setting up a little web server, and I brought in PonyChan because, well, I had nothing else to do as it was installing itself. So I was browsing the music board on PonyChan, and there's a couple pretty songs, some of the really, really, really early songs, and I just kind of I've realized music, so for a while I saw somebody post asking if there was a pony radio station, and if not, I'd be interested in making one. So I kind of kept my eye on it for an hour. Nobody replied, so I replied, and I was like, hey, I really don't think there is, I'm just setting up a web server right now. Why don't we set a showcast server and see if we can get them going? And that was, of course, Hooflander. So me and him, we gathered up a couple of songs off of PonyChan, and we, ripped a bunch of songs out of the show. And we set up a really crappy showcast server. I think it had, he was moving from Poland to Sweden at the time, so it was just me doing that. And my internet connection was just my home network, so I had a showcast server with 10 slots, and I just looked like 30 songs, and it was pretty ghetto. But I guess that was the original test. I posted a link, like a direct IP on the PonyChan, and I watching the server. I was consistently filled. 10 people listening all the time. People posting thread, hey, get on. How many more people do you need anymore servers or whatever. And when we realized that this was something that was going to get a little bit bigger than we thought, we just thought it was going to be something to do for what we do. We decided to actually drop a couple dollars on an actual Outcast server, and we put up like 40 slots, and HostGator set up a really terrible website in like 30 minutes on his laptop and hosted that, and then KBrony kind of jumped in and he's like, hey, I'm a web developer, how about I, take care of that? So he kind of remade the entire website. HostGator designed the original site. I don't know how many people listening right now are original listeners, but our website used to be pretty bright and loud, and it was pretty neat. But yeah, this first outsider was just kind of digging around and people didn't care, so we just made it bigger and bigger until we didn't have any problems. But I guess that never happened. Yeah, always had problems.
Isn't it? That's welcome to Celeste Radio right there. That's our story. That's it. That's the show.
Pretty much. That's how, I mean, we got those set up and then we got featured on what's that news site? I can't even remember. That's the one. And yeah, I've been out of the loop for a long time. Sorry. Yeah, we've been featured on Equestria Daily, and then we had a ton of people flooding in. We made an IRC server or a channel on Freenode, and we had a bunch of people jump in, and that's where we met you. You jumped on. I think we emailed one of us. Hey, I'm an actual DJ at a real radio station, and like, we need this guy. We need this guy right now. Do what he says. We need this guy. Whatever he wants, give it to him. That's pretty much the atmosphere. Like, we hop on Skype, and we're like, holy shit, we had this guy. We need him. And but before prison was like, and sexy Cuban voice like, hey, I'm a voice. I'm like, okay, you can speak for us because we're all like nerdy white people. And so he did a bunch of the original give me a word.
Sweepers.
Sweepers, there you go. Man, I'm so out of the loop. Yeah, he did the original Sweepers. I think we still play them, don't we?
Yeah. Those are some of the main ones I still play. Like they're good.
Yeah. They are good. They're timeless. They're really good. And of course, he made a few songs, and shit out of those.
Yeah, some pretty intense ones.
I still have. I don't know. Organizer music folders yet now, but I have when we dropped the host we were using, I took off the entire folder and I'm not keeping this. And so I have all the Prison's old songs, the ones that he wants deleted off the internet. I still got them.
Nice.
I still play them every once in a while just because I know he'd be so mad if I played them.
Damn straight. Fucking trot. Fucking trot.
Trot.
Good times. But so that
after about a month, you came around and
yeah. Yeah, I can remember. It's so funny. I actually got to. I don't think I told you this story, but you remember the Mentally Advanced series, right?
The what series, sorry?
The Mentally Advanced, the youth series, the plot scene. Yeah. So I found out not too long ago that the guy who runs that, as well as the co-host, both live less than 5 minutes away from me.
Oh man.
So we went out to eat the other day, and we've been hanging out every once in a while. And I told him when we sat down, I was like, I don't want to be that guy, but if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have found out about Celestia Radio because it was in the comment section on one of those videos that someone was talking about CDR. And like the mentally advanced series, along with the fucking pony mythology thing, those were like my first like that got me into the videos. Yeah. So what?
I think we lost German in there.
Oh, sorry. What was the last thing I said?
You heard about CR, some comment on the video.
Oh yeah. So, it was how I found out about CR in the comments on one of the mentally advanced videos, right? And what ended up happening is, if it wasn't for that, mentally advanced pony mythology is what got me into the fan, right? And CR really is what kept me there. But I found out about CR from those comments, and I told them, I was like, look guys, well, for you, one, I wouldn't be at fandom, and two, I wouldn't be at CR. And that's how, I think it was back in May of 2011 is when I found those videos, found out about CR, emailed you guys, and was like, hey, you know, what's going on with this thing? You know, I'm a radio DJ in real life, like work at a radio station, do all this stuff. I was like, I found the station that looks awesome, but unfortunately it's 24/7 auto DJ music. And I was like, that's not quite up to my standards what a radio station is. So I was like, let's do this. So, like Karai said, after, you know, pretty quickly I started working at Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. That was my slot weekly for about a good while. I think it was probably 3 months.
It was pretty much the whole summer. It was like the entire summer of 2011.
Yeah,
I remember. So it was like he would get up, go to work, he would turn on Celestia Radio and listen to you all day. And when you were done, he was done work, and then that was just. He's like, that was the best summer of my life.
Nice. Yeah.
I also remember the numbers are like active lists like skyrocketed when you showed up. Like the day you showed up, they went from like 10 to 15 average to like 100 max the whole time. Like we would always have people in IRC, oh, I can't listen, I can't get in, and I'd like pop up 10 slot mirror stream them, you know, so a couple more people could sneak on. But yeah, for the and then the entire summer we were like maxing our numbers, and then we bought that 300 slot server and finally kind of found our niche, I guess.
Yeah, it was like I came on. I can remember the numbers being like, you know, our highest was like 40 something, I think, at the time. Like before I came on, sort of the auto DJ was about that 40 average around in there. And then the first day I got on, we started at like 75, so it was almost double. And because of course EQD, I think, posted it. The one time EQD ever posted anything in CR back in the day was like for the first, which was great. It was like the first day that and it started there, and it immediately capped, like within, I want to say 30 minutes of the first hour, we capped at 100, because that's all we had. And we were like, shit. And it's like, people were like, I can't get on. We're like, sorry, it's the fucking, we only have 100. So then I can remember, I think it was either at that time that you took over from Hooflander or whenever it was, like, you like were like, hey, we need to like up. So we moved it up to 200, which we got really close to maxing out a lot, especially when we did the swag. I would always get like 100, average of like between 130 and 150 people in the show for like, you know, for weeks. And then I think we ended up breaking that 200 back around this, when we did the year-long, the 2012 January, songs of 2011 thing that we did for that special, I think is when we broke 200.
Christ, man, we had 700 that night.
Yeah, we had so many.
We had like 3 other radio stations they built up relays for us.
Yeah.
And we had over 700 listeners throughout the whole network.
Yeah, literally I would venture to say that's the largest single radio broadcast from the entire fandom.
Easily.
Was that day close to it, up there, and we ended up breaking the 300 number by ourselves again, or at least capping at 300. When we aired, I think it was the Doctor Who's an assistant thing. During the Kiki drive that was in the winter of this last year, is when we.
That's when I finally stepped out of the whole scene without I was kind of on my way out, and then we did the Kiki drive, and we raised like $2,800 or something like that, about $2,800, but yeah, $2,800.
Yeah, back on the first one.
After that, I took all the money out of my PayPal account, dropped it into the donation thing, and then I was like, good luck, Shamrock.
Pretty much. But yeah, I think basically that whole, beginning period there, just that whole summer of 2011 when ponies like really fucking took off,
Yeah.
It was crazy. I mean, I used to remember like every single person that came into the IRC, like everybody that was in IRC was listening to the show, and we had like huge numbers, and we had like we would always do the pony swag thing, of course, like every day, fucking had to do pony swag at least once a day. It was only when only when we got to like whatever number I said, and I was very particular about that too, because
we did not do pony swag until like we reached however many listeners.
And I can remember like back in the day, we would literally have like we might start with 70 or 80, and people would be like, "Let's swag." I'm like, "No, fuck off. We're not swagging until we have this number." And they're like, "Shit." And so like they would literally be so frustrated, and they would run and grab like their neighbor and fucking whoever else. They're like, "Jump on the stream. All we need is numbers right now." And they would just like yell at all their people to fucking get in the stream, and it would boost up to like the 120, 150, whatever mark. And I was like, okay, fair enough. We fucking swagged, and we had fucking swag all over the goddamn page when every single person, all those 150 people in IRC, just spamming the shit out of that. I remember when we did it really well, like the second week of swagging, we hit our all-time like high number, and I tried. I did a copy of the logs, like to see how many pages it was, like the whole control copy thing, and I went to go paste it into Google Docs, and my computer crashed. Like, oh shit. So then I tried to put it into Word, and it crashed too. So I was like, well, this is going to be interesting. So somebody else eventually, who had a way better computer than I had, was able to, get that sorted and figure that shit out and get it posted up. And I can't even remember how many pages it was now, but it was obscene. It was. Yeah, it was at least a book. Like, it wasn't. I'm not even exaggerating closely at all.
No, there were like 40 or 48,000 iterations of the word swag in like a 5-minute span where we'd play Swagberg's Pony Swag.
Yeah, it isn't even that long. It's like 3 minutes and 20 or 30 seconds, I think. Like, it's.
Yeah. I actually a couple of weeks ago, I don't remember why, but I was looking through my IRC logs, and I just picked up the Celestia Radio Freenode log before we switched over to Canternet, and I just did like a control find for the word swag, 2.5 million.
Nice. That's literally,
right?
That is, let me do a quick in my head. I almost think that's like the Harry Potter series. Like, it's like a lot of words. It's crazy.
That's a lot of words.
That's fucking
we had good fun. I remember we'd actually at one point we caused a net split on Freenode because we were slacking too hard, and we had like Cysops going in the channel asking what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, I remember that actually. I think it was that time that we actually did it like the most. Because
and then the just hung out in our channel like indefinitely, and I was like, oh no,
the police, it's the popo, everybody run. Yeah, it was. I remember it was so funny because Freenode is like a fucking big, like Freenode's a big IRC server, right?
Yeah, it's like the biggest network, I believe.
And so it like we're literally just pinging it so hard that this we caused this huge rift net split like in our thing, and it just like ripples throughout the entire server, and they jump in, and this dude is like, what the fuck is you guys doing in here? And I'm just like, my bad, like we're swagging, and he's like, what? I'm like, just watch. And so like it was great, and they thought it was fucking hilarious. Like he wasn't even mad. Like
no, he wasn't mad at all. He's like, oh, I like Pony's tunes. He actually tuned in for like a day or two just to see what the hell, like who we are and why we're breaking their network.
Oh, my friend actually literally just sent me a message on Google. 1.2 million is the number in Harry Potter series.
Well,
so we doubled that. We had twice the Harry Potter series of swag in our channel. Just obscene. Like it's just I can't even. But yeah, like we he stayed in there for a while, and it was funny too because like just anytime we had any issues with IRC, like one of the mods from the entire server is just chilling in our rooms. So like anytime we had an issue, we're just like, hey, here's this thing, can you help us out? Or like when we I can't remember if we ever had any issues with did we have issues with those fucking people before we moved to Canterlot?
No.
Okay.
No, those are yeah, like the Goon Squad or whatever. They came in and like wrecked our wiki, and we're like, okay. And then like 3 minutes later, we just reverted all the pages.
And they sent out like all the fucking like the threats out to like Firebolt, and like sent him a bunch of like empty packages. And they called my mom and told her like that I owed him like $5,000 in drug money, like and all this shit. Dude, I fucking remember that vividly. Like here we are, like they just find us out, and it was like 9gag or some fucking people. And no, it was oh shit, what are they called? The nigger people. I don't remember what their name is. It's like
the GNAA.
Yeah, there you go. The G nigger something.
I think it was like Meep Sheep and his boys, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, what was the guy's name? I'm trying to remember. The main Tyson or somebody? Like what was it? Was it Tyson? I think it was Tyson. Like all caps. But it was funny because yeah, I was literally in bed. It was like 3 a.m. and upstairs. I think I was like trying to plan my show for the next day or something. I can't quite remember. And my mom literally comes upstairs, and she's like crying. She's like freaking out, and she's like this man, and she literally she said this black man called us, and I'm like, I don't know how you know that, but she's like, this middle-aged black man called us, and she just knew, and said you owed him like $5,000 in drug money. She's like, do you really? Like, she bought into this, and I was like, do you know who I am? Like like, it was kind of funny. It was like, duh, are you kidding me? I'm like, you're literally one of the most nosy people that I know. You've lived with me for the last, like, 19, 20 years. Like, where would I put this? And so she was like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm like, call the police. Like, I don't give a shit. I was like, because I knew when she said who it was, like, I was like, oh. Because I knew immediately who it was. And so I was like, all right, well, you call the cops because, just to be safe or whatever. And I sent them a message, and I can remember very specifically, I gave them a nice, like, page-long write-out thing. I'm like, I understand you guys are trolls, whatever, that's okay. I'm like, I don't care if you prank call me, blah, blah, whatever. I'm like, but don't fucking call my home phone, like call my cell phone, whatever you want to do. I was like, and they were just like, oh, we're going to be there like in an hour or whatever. I'm like, that's cool. Here's my address. Show up. I'll have my M16 at the door waiting for you. Like, I was not even give a single shit about what they had to give me. I was like, bring it on. You step on my property, I will literally shoot you in the knee. Like, no fucks given. Bring it on. And they were like, oh, and they just like talk shit for a while. And I was like, whatever. If you decide to show up, like, we'll have a throwdown, but otherwise, I really don't give a shit what you say. So it was pretty funny. They stopped after that.
Yeah, they're pretty bad trolls.
Yeah, they were really bad trolls. It was just I shut them down pretty hard, and we got them blacklisted from the server and all that shit. So it wasn't really too difficult. I do remember like that was our biggest like sort of confrontation as far as IRC like dealing with spammers and stuff was those guys, and just like. They would just come back and we'd have to like re-ban them like over and over and try and get all these network bans on them and everything. It was crazy. But yeah, shit. I'm trying to remember. Then it was back like
You don't have an M16.
I don't.
Idiot.
I have friends that do, so I don't get. I literally have I have a friend that lives like within walking distance of me that has literally an arsenal prepared for the apocalypse. Like he literally any time that he he's in the Army Rangers, like airborne, and any time that he gets off for leave and goes to a gun show, which is what he does, he'll take like $2,000 and just buy ammo. Like that's all, just $2,000 throw down straight on ammo.
Good God.
And I'm talking like 7.62, 5.5, like the whole nine, like 45, like whole 9 yards. And he's got plenty. So he's also actually, it's funny, like he's also got fucking like flash grenades that they got from the armory, because people like sneak that shit out, and so those are cool. But yeah, fun times. I can remember. That I think it was in September of that year that I stopped doing the show because I had to do school for another year. Went to broadcast school in 2011, 2012.
And you hated it.
And I hated it. Well, I hated school, period. Like, I don't know how many of our listeners like have that same feeling, but like
kids, stay in school.
Of which I give the opposite message for. so
Yeah, I took 2 years in accounting, and I'm now working as a security guard.
Yeah, well, it's funny. No, like seriously, my life is the perfect example of like not needing to go to school and still make good money. If you just do.
You work at a fucking call center. You don't make good money.
What?
You work at a call center. You don't make good money.
A call center? Is that what you think I do? Like,
it's pretty much what you do.
No, it's not. I fucking like.
You like sit in front of a computer and you just wait for people to be like, "Oh, things are broken," and you're like, "Oh, I'm pressing buttons now."
Yeah, well, pretty much, but it's
pretty much a call center.
No, the call center is below us, and they're the ones who have to listen to the customers. I don't have to talk to them at all. And then the call center calls us and goes, "Hey, by the way, here's what's down," and we're like, "Cool, let's fix that." But hey. I'm not complaining about a $40K a year job without any college. So, and especially...
I wish I made $40K. I make like $20K.
Yeah.
$22K.
But, point being, I literally have had like 7 jobs in the last 9 years, and none of them were from an application, and none of them were from any sort of experience that I had at all. And...
Yeah. That's pretty much the same with me. It's like I've gone to school, but any decent job I've ever had wasn't because I graduated from any school, because I graduated a couple months ago. It's like I just got jobs because I knew people. That's all it is. It doesn't matter what you know, it matters who you know. And that is the most oversaid statement, but it's the most true statement too. It doesn't matter. It's like I went to school. I took IT originally in like 2007. And at the end of the 5th year, my teacher's like, "Oh, there's a guy looking for students, and I know you know a lot, so I'm gonna, if you want a summer job, you can go talk to this guy." And I was like, "All right," and that's pretty much, I got that job. And I was like, "Fuck school."
Yeah, literally, literally, the quick synopsis of how I got mine is because I, had this great friend that I grew up with and did debate forensics with, and we're really close. He moved up, went to KU for law school. I moved to Lawrence because I was sick of just the same old shit, pretty much, and went up there, worked at a grocery store for 2 or 3 months until I was like, "Hey, man, if you hear about anything better than this shit that I'm doing," he's like, "Actually, my roommate, works at this place in Kansas City who works for Sprint." He's like, "I'll let him know." That dude talked to his manager. I got hired. Boom. Suddenly, go from like a $6 an hour job to like a $20 an hour job, just because my best friend growing up knew a roommate who worked there. It's fucking crazy.
You worked at a grocery store?
I literally worked at a Dillon's. Yeah.
Was that when you were living with Danny?
Yeah.
I didn't know you worked at a grocery store. That's cute.
Yeah, overnight stocking, the worst job in America.
I vaguely remember that. I remember you doing overnights at something.
So
bad. I didn't have a grocery store. That's when we started playing Terror all the time, and then I just stopped because I didn't give a shit anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah. So anyway, quick little thing there about all of you job-seeking people, that it's not necessarily about...
The economy sucks. Keep fucking looking. I was looking for 5 months, and now I have an $11 job. Which isn't...
Yeah.
It's something.
Yeah, bounce around from place to place, get to know people that, work in places. One of the biggest things I could tell you, go to LinkedIn, use LinkedIn, the website. It's great. If not for, directly getting jobs.
Put your resume up on Workopolis. I did that, and I got a call within 2 days from a company. I didn't get that job, but they called me, and that was pretty nice.
Yeah, but yeah, cool stuff. Work talk with Celestia Radio. but anyway, that brings us up close to the point of basically going into when I took over from Karai. And leading into BronyCon of 2012, the first big, huge pony convention with 4,000 people, and I think we're going to get to that maybe after we take a break. I think we've got to do that, and we're going to have our weather news segment, and then at that point, we will go into the latter half of the show where we'll talk about all the new stuff since I took over from Karai, and KB joined us and all that fun stuff coming up here on Canterlot Cross-Fade. So don't go anywhere. Karai, thanks for being with us on the show randomly today.
No problem, mate.
It was kind of cool that it worked out. So that's awesome. And we'll go ahead and say goodbye to you and get into our next thing here as we take our break. So say goodbye to everybody, and we'll see you later.
Peace out.
All right, KB still.
Hey, don't it feel so energetic? Try Rainbow Dash, the energy drink for ponies with gratuitous amounts of friendship. With all new flavors like Flutter Guy, Buttershy Energy. It's like adding kindness to an electrical storm. Sound the alarm. You're going to be comfortably cheerful. What's that? You want Pinkie Pie? Well, how about Pinkie Die? With parties, real parties, friendship. You'll be good at it. It's an energy drink for ponies. Bonergy. These aren't your sister's ponies. These are Bonergy ponies. Turbo ponies. Caring energy. Rainbow Dash, Rainbow Crash, Rainbow Cupcakes. It has more rainbow than your body has more. You're like so fast, so she'll be like, slow down. And you'll be like, fuck you! And kick her in the face with your Bonergy legs. You'll have so much Bonergy. Bonergy! You'll be flying all the time. Flying friendly, caring, friendly sleeping, friendly shipping, friendly laughing, friendly spawning. Fillies! You'll have so many fillies. 400 fillies! Give Rainbow Dash to your fillies, and they'll be good at friendship! Make your fillies fly abnormally fast! They'll fly as fast as griffins. Ponies will watch them and think they're griffins. They'll race as fast as griffins against actual griffins. And then it'll be a tie and they'll be deported back to Griffin. Yeah! Hey, go with the sure thing. Don't gamble on your Ponergy. Fluttershy stare. By Rainbow Dash, the Ponergy for friendship.
Do you want to have a night on the town, but need someone to watch your precious little animals? Look no further than Fluttershy's Daycare. Fluttershy will watch your animals with more care than a mother would watch her child. She makes sure each one is fed, bathed, and asleep. Fluttershy offers overnight service or hourly service, and out of love for all animals, she will do it for free. Just listen to these testimonials.
My little bunny was safe and sound all day. Fluttershy is such a nice pony.
My little kitty loved it. She was well rested and fed when I came to pick her up.
I love Fluttershy. She makes sure my precious puppy gets whatever he needs. She's a very kind pony.
So why wait? Bring your little animal down to Fluttershy's Animal Daycare next time you want a night on the town.
What up, Equestria? Karai here with the Sea Ponies, just letting you know that you are shooby-dooing to Celestia Radio. All Sea Pony, all the time. Except when it's not.
Alright, that is the infamous Sea Pony Sweeper done by Karai. So once again, thank you so much, Karai, for being on the air with us. And now, Shamrock and I here again. I believe it is now time for the weather and news segments of today's show.
That's absolutely right. So I'm just going to really quickly, since my brain was not quite on par with me, get on my timer and reset for when we do the news. All right. And I'll let you lead into that from your thing. But here we go with the weather. Canterlot. Today in the royal city of Canterlot, we're looking at some light and wispy winds coming in from the east as we move into the fall season in the wonderful capital of Equestria, helping to cool the heavy heat we've been feeling the last few weeks and bring in the wonderful autumn weather. Most of you don't know what real autumn looks like, considering you're too busy getting your manicures and staying as far away from nature as possible. Over to you, KB.
Alrighty, Sham, I've got the weather report for Trottingham this week. Not much is different over the sea now. Of course, over the pond in Trottingham, it's going to be rain, 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 and more rain for the rest of eternity. So pack an umbrella, folks. And with that, none other than the Canterlot Cross-Fade news portion. Alrighty, getting things started, we have a direct quote from William Anderson. In case you're not familiar with him, he does the background music for all of the My Little Pony episodes thus far. Absolutely talented dude. But he posted on his DeviantArt that he is absolutely ecstatic about what's coming up in Season 4. He said that the music is just fantastic, the writing is impeccable, and it's probably going to be one of the best seasons so far. So I'm looking forward to it. That's what I was trying to say there. Over to you, Sham.
Yeah, definitely. I can't wait for it. We got some other cool things about Season 4, but first, the third annual Ponies Around the World event is going to be starting in a few weeks, and this event, for those of you that knows, where people get your little blind bag ponies, all those other ones, and they take really cool pictures at different locations around the globe and post them up on the internet. I think they get posted to EQD. It's a really fun thing that they've been doing again for 3 years or whatever, and it's a lot of fun to take part in. So check it out. I'm pretty sure that they'll have some news about that on EQD and all kinds of other cool stuff.
Alright, folks, we're back. Sorry about that. I loaded something and Mix just decided, nah, fuck you, we're gonna go ahead and quit. Because Mix is great like that. But fear not, we're back. We're getting right back into news like nothing even happened. So Shamrock, where were we?
Okay. Let's see. We were just talking about the 30 annual Ponies Around the World event. Make sure and check that out on EQ Deets, where you can get all your little ponies together and take pictures of them in cool places around the globe and put them up on the internet as well as on EQD. They get posted there. It's a pretty cool thing. They've been doing it for 3 years now. Super awesome stuff. So back over to you, KB.
Alrighty, well, this next development you've probably heard us talk about a few times so far, and that is the release of the Hoof Sounds extension for Google Chrome. The guys over at Pony Hoof, they do the Facebook mod for the ponies, awesome little program. They just released yesterday their brand new browser extension called Hoof Sounds. It has every single station on PVL and Celestia Radio available in a drop-down menu for quick access and quick listening. It's absolutely wonderful. It's going to be available on Firefox in just a few days. But so far, it's going great. They've been an excellent team. We've been loving working with the Pony Hoof guys. They've been doing a kick-ass job. And, just stay tuned for that for all you Firefox users. Just sit it out a few more weeks, and they should have that extension ready. If you use Safari or Internet Explorer, then I would highly suggest getting Firefox or Chrome.
Heck yeah, it's a pretty awesome thing. And we're excited about it. Should be bringing in numbers. It's already been working so far. So for all of you listening on Hoof Sounds, thank you for joining us. We're glad to have you here. We normally have the show 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 to 9 over on the Eastern Side, midnight to 2 a.m. for those in the GMT time Monday morning, every Sunday or Monday morning there. Every week for Canterlot Cross-Fade. The next thing we have here on the news, MLP Monopoly card spotted. Now, we think, we are hypothesizing this is probably intentional, but the Discord card for Monopoly is actually a picture of Trixie, and the subtext on the card is about Zecora. So we're thinking that it's just Discord being Discord, and we're hoping that the Monopoly company didn't just go, well, shit, who knows how to make pony Monopoly game? Nobody knew. So we're hoping it's not that. So check that out. It seems pretty cool.
Alrighty, next, this is kind of a cool development. It's not even necessarily Pony World related, but it kind of associates a lot with just what the fandom's about. And what a lot of people are trying to install, value-wise into humanity, more or less. But very soon, Toys R Us is going to be getting rid completely in all their stores of the boys and girls label. That basically means that there's not going to be a girls section, there's not going to be a boys section. Of course, that doesn't do too much because we still know that they're going to organize the store with the pink toys by each other and the blue toys by each other. So there's still going to be kind of that sex, segregation there, but at least they're not actually labeling it. So it shows that some progress is being made in the gender roles, at least.
Yeah, pretty neat thing, pretty awesome deal to see happening, and who knows, maybe the force of MLP was behind that. I don't know if I want to throw that out there, but who knows, something to think about. In other news, of course, a lot of you may have been seeing, or at least semi-paying attention. I know it's an off-season for the pony folks, so it's a weird time to have this contest. But the Hub had their Best Pony contest. I think that's like the first time they've ever done anything like that. And shockingly, Fluttershy is the pony who won this contest. I think quite a few people are a little shocked at that fact that she's the one that won. But hey, I mean, I didn't know about the contest till it was over. I certainly wasn't paying attention in a pony off season to what the Hub was doing. But I guess it's their prerogative, and that's the way that the votes went. So whether it was your 6-7-year-old girls or your 30-year-old guys that were contributing to that factor, I don't know. But it is certainly something interesting to take into account.
Certainly is. This next thing's kind of random, and I know Christmas for a lot of people is still a little ways off. I mean, we still got Halloween and Thanksgiving, and those are just United States holidays more or less, but of course international too. But coming up in stores, there's been some Christmas ornaments spotted of the MLP origin. I know one that I spotted was Twilight in a stocking. It's molded plastic. It looks pretty nifty, nothing overly fancy, but I don't know, if you're a fan of Christmas trees and or Christmas ornaments, keep your eyes peeled to probably Target and Walmart, and you will find this ornament.
Yeah. Cool thing. So the majority vote that was held on EQD, I believe it was, they had the question, if the MLP cast in the show for Friendship Magic, if you were all male, would you still watch the show? And shockingly, to both KB and myself, the answer was yes. An emphatic yes, I think, as it was quite a large majority. I don't remember totally, but I thought that was a little strange. Both, KB, you and I talked about it earlier. We both thought we would vote no on that.
All male cast, probably not my show. And I don't know why. I almost want to chalk it down to the fact that I don't like the way that they look. Just the style of the stallions looks weird, and I wouldn't really watch a whole entire show around 6 stallions. It almost sounds weirder than watching a show about girl ponies, when you think about it. So,
yeah.
Kind of peculiar.
Yeah, very strange.
So let's see. Coming up next, as always, there's merch of the fandom, of ponies in general. Now at Hot Topic, Target, other various stores. They got some new cell phone cases variety, probably for some Android phones, as well as, just iPhones always. Some metal lunch boxes, some tote bags, and just look around for those things.
Yep, and there was a very interesting thing I particularly like it was on Twitter, was this quote from Megan McCarthy. Her Twitter said, "She's loving the places we're taking Rainbow Dash in Season 4, so many feels." Now this one is pretty intense, especially for me, being that Rainbow Dash is my favorite. And I'm thinking, this is just, a quick hypothesis here, is that they are taking her, improving her relationship with Scootaloo, because we saw a little bit of that development in Season 3. I loved Season 3 for as much as they expanded on Rainbow Dash, her personality, disposition, feelings, all that kind of stuff, because you don't really get to see it too much. So I was happy to see that, and I'm really looking forward to that in Season 4. Maybe even a little bit of her past and where she came from, too. So that'll be really interesting. And
we've got just one last point here before we wrap up the news. For all you Canadians eagerly awaiting Equestria Girls, if you haven't seen it yet, that is going to be debuting on the Hub up in Canada on September 13th. And with that, folks, you have had your CCF news.
Break it down, DJ Pone 3. It's Celestia Radio.
Stars and Autumn here, administrator for MyLittleRemix.com. Do you have what it takes to make the next great remix? Or perhaps you would like to collaborate with another musician in order to make an awesome song? The 7th Brony Remix War is underway, and My Little Remix is inviting all musicians to take part in it. This year's theme is centered around merging musical genres together with other musicians. Techno musicians can collaborate with house musicians to make some tech house, or you can mix some EDM with swing to make some electro swing. Pick whatever crazy combinations you can think of and get together with another musician to make something unique. The Remix War will be accepting entries until September 16th. Afterwards, Celestia Radio will be hosting the streaming of all entries a week later. Visit MyLittleRemix.com and click on the Remix War subform for more details.
Hey there, bronies. Need someone to talk to about your love troubles? Then listen to Lauren Goodnight and Stephanie Kier on 8-Bit Sex every Friday night at 10 Eastern on Celestia Radio. We'll take your frown and turn it up.
Słuchacie Radio Celestia. Kucyki przez cały czas.
Shades of grey surrounding here. We cannot move, nor can we fear. Home is gone, there is no light. No longer is the end in sight. The land below us burns. Our walls will fall as we all turn. Walk away, arrivederci to this day. I see you there from my perch on high. An embodiment of evil, a fact you can't deny. You have to see my rain has come. There's nothing you can do. So listen up, you girls and boys. I'm gonna play with you. Run, hide, flee.
Boom, a beautiful song, Lavender Harmony, featuring Odyssey Eurobeat. Desinenza, that's what I'm going with. That's how it looks like it's pronounced to me. It's probably something different, but that's what I'm going with for now. But damn, great song. I mean, really, Lavender Harmony, Eurobeat, one other person that's name's cut off just for the moment, but of course we will mention that esteemed individual in the show notes and the description of this show when it is re-uploaded, so you can find both links of both songs that we played down in the description, of course. But man, two awesome musicians. I mean, you can't really go wrong with two classics like that.
Definitely. I think it's pretty cool. You know, I'm always glad to see Odyssey do some other stuff. You know, I know he announced a while back that he was ending the Super Pony Beat series of albums. He's going to continue to do pony music, but you know, he's just not going to release any albums anymore specifically for that purpose. You know, I know a lot of people were a little sad about that, but man, he's still putting out some kick-ass stuff. So,
and I mean, you can't fault the guy too bad. I mean, we've seen 3 Super Pony Beat albums, each one probably a solid 20 main songs with another 20 variations of songs. The guy's put out probably 100 individual songs that you can go and listen to. Pretty much all for free, too, which you gotta respect that. Gotta love good old Eurobeat.
Yeah, definitely. He's a great guy. Travis, fucking awesome dude. And we're fortunate to know him pretty well. So, but with that, I think we're gonna kind of get into our second segment here. We got about 30 minutes left in the show to talk about all things, and it's pretty crazy. I don't know if we can do this, but all things CR. From the point of which I took over spring of 2012 until now, a lot of shit has happened.
That's an understatement, really.
That really is. A lot of shit has happened. Quote right there, you know, said on this day, DJ Shamrock about Celestia Radio. And it'll go down in fucking, I don't even know if we have quotes anymore in the chat, but throw that in there. Why not? That'll be the last line of the Shamtionary. Just a lot of shit has happened. The end.
The end.
But yeah, I'm trying to remember what happened first. I think I took over first, and then you sent in the email, right?
It was literally within the same week that you were doing the transitional stuff when I sent you my email. So it was almost the exact, down to the week. That's as accurate as I could remember. I don't know the day that Karai was like, here's the key, Sham. Because I wasn't in the chat. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's kind of give them a little bit of a recap as to how you and I met each other. Because we've gone a long ways since then, that's for certain.
Absolutely. Yeah, we fucking sent in the email. I can remember looking over it and going, because, you know, back then, especially, you know, when I was doing DJing, we got so many, it wasn't really emails, it was mostly people in chat just like, I want to be a DJ, or like everybody putting DJ by their name in the chat, which I look in our chat now, and I'm thankful to see. I don't see anybody with the letters DJ in front of their name besides people that work here. So it's sort of a breath of fresh air. But, you know, just all the time, people would be like, hey, I don't have a mic. I don't have music. I don't have software or hardware, but I bet I could be a DJ. And it's like, well, hold on. You know, learn your shit, come back. But you know, up to that point, before you had sent your email in, everybody that had been a DJ had basically learned from me directly how to do the whole CR thing, and, you know, learn the ropes the tough way. And suddenly I get this email right as I kind of came into power that, you know, said, hey, I'm a DJ in Colorado working at a radio station. And I was like, fuck. Like, I have a feeling I had the same reaction that Landon and all those guys had. I applied to work at CR, and I was just like, great. Like, I didn't even need to know anything else. I'm like, you know radio. If you work at a radio station, you're hired. And I can remember That was pretty close before BronyCon, because that year, BronyCon was at the beginning of, was it June or was it the end of June?
It was the last day of June going into the first few days of July.
Right.
And I sent my email, I think, in about a week and a half before that. You contacted me within the hour. And I'll be completely frank, I was pretty new to the fandom, didn't know shite about shite. Knew that I had radio experience. Same email. Literally, I replaced Everfree Network's name with Celestia Radio's name and sent the same email out to both of you guys. Sham got back to me within the hour. Everfree never fucking talked to me. So I think it was pretty clear which station was the better choice to go with.
Absolutely.
And, I'm glad, and just thank Celestia to herself. Thank Molestia that I ended up here. Because I'm sure things would have gone quite differently if I had gone down that other path. And we're not even going to assume what those kind of things would have been, but fuck, I am glad that I took this path instead.
Damn straight. Yeah, I can remember that, and then I don't even think we talked on Skype before you sent me the link to your station, to KBrony, and I listened. Right, like that was our first Skype conversation. I think you're like, I'm on air, by the way. Like here is the link to the thing, and I got on, and randomly, like you happen to be playing fucking Cranberries Zombie. And I was like, I was like, holy shit, I love this song, like fucking Cranberries, man. And you're like, oh yeah, love Cranberries. I was like, I can't remember. Did you? I know I brought it up because I was like, that's one of my favorite Irish bands. I don't remember if you knew at the time that they were Irish or not.
The funny thing was, I think how it transpired was I was playing that song. And I played it because at that point I knew that you were tuned in. And I knew that Cranberries were an Irish kind of punk rock band. And I'm like, his name is fucking Shamrock. All the pictures I've seen of the dude thus far, he's just decked out in all this Irish swag. I'm like, I might as well freaking try to tailor to the dude here. I'm playing at a rock and roll station, so what's the closest thing that I can do to, Irish and hard rock? Fucking Cranberries. So I throw on Zombie. And you're just kind of like, oh shit, you're playing Cranberries right now. And I'm like, yeah, actually funny because it's a pretty great Irish rock band. And you respond with, yeah, you don't have to tell me.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it was.
And I don't know, you probably, I mean, my name was on the email, so you probably got a good gauge just seeing my last name that I had some Irish in me.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can fucking remember that, and I think it was at that point basically that if I had any reservations before, I was just kind of like, all right, fuck it, this dude is definitely hired because I knew you had good taste in music and you knew what you were doing, obviously, and probably as far as like being, it wasn't my first staffing decision. As the new head of CR, I wasn't really the head when we hired Damo and some of those other folks, but as far as like my first sort of official like reading the email application and like deciding let's hire this guy, by far, best staffing decision I've made to date probably, doing that because we don't have too many pure radio people that came from this background that work here. I mean, it's you, me, and trying to remember if we had any other people that worked in radio. I can't recall.
Spiton, as he claimed, but he claimed many things. So
yeah, he claimed a lot of things. He got fired from all those positions, including ours. But I can't think of any others. But great times. I think the first, you weren't even on air yet. I think were you busy with school still, or we were trying to get you set up with the right shit, the right software and stuff?
I was really confused about the software, that I was really overthinking it. I didn't really get how the whole internet thing worked, because I was...
Me either, back in the day.
So you're like, you can use this program, and I'm like, okay. Well, Mix was one of them, so I look at Mix, and I'm like, well, Mix sucks, so let's look elsewhere. See, folks, we've known Mix has sucked for 2 years now, and now we're just kind of stuck with it. Well,
Yeah, and
there's Sam,
before we
too.
knew Mix sucked, we knew that Winamp sucked. Really hardcore. At least we've surpassed the days of Winamp.
Yeah.
Never again.
God. Freaking Winamp. And you were also like, oh, and then there's BUTT. That works. But that's basically only audio, or that's like only mic audio. And I started getting all these batshit ideas like, oh, I'm going to play my music with Mix, and then I'm going to talk on air with Butt and use those 2 programs. And I'm like, hey, can you do that? Like, tune in the 2 things? And you're like, I have no fucking clue. So I did, was just like, I don't really know. Actually, I just found the email.
Lol.
Let me copy pasta here. I'm not going to put it in the chat, Lord no, but I'll put it in this little Skype conversation. Just for
shits and giggles.
That was it. And now that I'm not going to make any, I don't want to make anyone feel bad about emailing us, but reading this email and then comparing it to emails that I've still read that we get on a regular basis nowadays, I could see why you probably got back to me within an hour.
Yeah, it's not often we get the greatest applications on emails. At least for some, even if it's short, at least some people actually speak coherently and not, God, you remember the fucking email, the briny? Briny.
Oh, God.
What was the subtext? It was like briny, like dirt, like dew or something. I don't even fucking remember what the hell. But Jesus Christ, that email was one of the best things ever.
We've had some great emails in the day that we could have a whole another episode just making fun of.
We really could.
Of the emails that we've
That's
gotten.
not even a lie. Like, we could do that.
But we're kind of back to like actually doing broadcast and shit. I sat in with Deimos. Deimos had been there for 3 weeks when I got hired.
Oh shit.
And man, I sat in with Deimos. I thought he was the coolest motherfucker ever. His voices were hilarious, and I would soon come to learn that after you hear those voices relentlessly every day, that they start to become slightly less entertaining and fun. But he is a good voice actor. I will give him that. But yeah, I mean, that was back in the days of the party rock block. And he'd start out with the Smile song and all that kind of shit. And man, I just thought it was so cool sitting in on him. We only had an active staff of 7 people.
Yep.
And that's when it kind of came to the point that, we decided my maiden broadcast, for some fucking great reason, was going to be BronyCon. Because I was pretty much the only person other than Plow, because Plow, no one from CR's ever met Plow.
Never, ever.
We've pretty much all met each other, except for some of the newer guys, except Plow has been here the longest, and really nobody knows.
Yeah.
We know he lives in Connecticut. That's pretty
fun.
much it. But he wasn't there, and I wasn't there. And that was my maiden broadcast. Sham, you and I had been planning. We had exchanged phone numbers. We had this great system that you were going to call me. I would plug my phone into my mixer, and I was going to do live remotes. And that actually fucking worked, surprisingly. That we actually managed to pull that off.
The most ghetto. But, here's the thing. That's the way real radio fucking does it. You get, it's a little more complicated than that. But basically, you have a phone that you fucking take with you, and you have all your mixer shit and equalizing and all that bullshit, and you just call the station on the phone. They answer on the on-air phone. They fucking plug you in, and there you go. And we had that benefit because everybody else, aka Everfree Network, which back then was Everfree Radio, of course, were using the internet to directly broadcast, and that was shit. And we had the fire of BronyCon 2012, where everybody had to leave. They tried to stay in the fire with their broadcast equipment because that's where the internet was. But I, with my cellular device, could connect wirelessly via phone voice on the tower back to the home station, which then broadcasted on the internet. And I think we were the only ones, aside from the Brony documentary, who had any coverage at that point of the con, because we were the only ones that could get on air.
Yep. I totally remember that I know we had gotten 3 successful phone calls, and then I decided, some of my friends called me. They're like, "Oh, hey, we should go hang out." And because I live in a small town, I'm like, "Okay, I'll have my phone on me." Shamrock calls me. I'll get back to town, or I'll get back to my house pretty quick because he'll be like, "Hey, I need to go on in like 5 minutes." That's what I was assuming anyway. So I go off across the street.
You assumed so incorrectly.
Yes. Oh God. I go across the street, and this is probably like literally 10 minutes after nothing can go wrong. So I'm pretty far away from my house at this point, down in town, and it's not a massive town. Trust me, if you've ever heard me talk about my town of Bumfuck, it's not that big, but still in proximity. I wasn't close to my house. My phone rings. It's Shamrock. "Holy shit, dude! All these musicians are here right now. Put me on air." And I was still the new fag at this point. So, you were the boss. You were still slightly intimidating. I didn't want to disappoint anyone. I thought the weight of the world was on my shoulders because I was fucking DJ dude that had to go broadcast a phone call. Of course, now if you called me and I was 4 blocks away from my house, you'd be like, "Tough shit, Sham. I'm going to walk back and we'll see what happens." But then I was like, "Oh, fuck. It's game time." I was on my bike, and in the heat of the moments, just me being the genius I am, I'm like, no, bikes are not as fast as me running, so I throw my bike, tell my friend to carry it for me, and I start sprinting to my house. Because that was a fucking genius idea. My friend's like, "Why the fuck did you leave your bike?" I'm like, once I'm already halfway to my house, I'm like, oh, in retrospect, that probably wasn't the best fucking idea, but oh well, I'm already halfway to my house, so let's just keep on running. And I'm so out of breath, I get it to work miraculously. It's a great remote, and that first day was great. And that's when the shit hit the fan after that, because, like I said, Plow and I were the only ones of CR that were not at the convention, and everything, IRC, website, the Shoutcast server, fucking broke. We were dead in the water, that you couldn't get in the IRC, you couldn't connect to the radio, nothing was happening. We were at a complete standstill. Guess who was the only one that knew how to fix it? PHP. Guess where PHP was? At the fucking convention. Did anyone know where PHP was? Oh, hell no. That's way too convenient. So for about 8 hours, everyone's frantically at this convention searching for PHP, trying to get him to unfuck everything. They finally track him down. He fixes it. It breaks again in 10 minutes. Guess what? We can't find him again. So for 2 solid days, pretty much, I was having fucking anxiety attacks. Like, oh my god, everything's breaking. What am I supposed to do? And Plow's just like, I don't give a fuck. So that was an interesting first experience. Of course, my first maiden broadcast being the first day of BronyCon 2012. And, of course, 1 year later was the day that I put an end to that Every Pony variety show, and that's how we got here. But, of course, there's so much more in between there that it didn't go end of BronyCon 1 year and then now that we had some big changes kind of happen in there. So, Sham, what's the next big thing that you would say happened to the station after BronyCon, me kind of becoming, a DJ, and we kind of, had our set staff for a few months there?
Well, I definitely think that we had, we go from all that in between. There was that gap there between when I stopped DJing to when I took over the station. That had a lot of that's kind of the lost history of CR because. Landon was sort of there at that time, though. Who knows how the fuck much attention he was paying at that point. He was getting burnout. And, of course, PHP is PHP. And, Plow might have been paying some attention, but all of our people that were on air at that point, like Prison's not here anymore, MLI's not here anymore. Q probably is the only one, really, that was around in that middle time that kind of happened. That could say anything about that. We did, of course, like we talked with Landon earlier, that we had that that nice, huge, the breaking the entire listener count of over like close to 800 people at once, January of 2012, which was great, and set that record there. And had all that stuff happening. We hired on those few people. That was sort of one of my first. That was the first sort of set of hiring.
It was basically Pony Toast, Deimos, and you. That was like the crew.
It was on air right at that point. Well, Q.
Oh yeah, fucking Q. How could I forget QCOM?
it's QCOM. But you know, that was our core at that point, and I hired on, you know, Deimos. I hired on you. We hired on. I think that was our first set of like hiring on IRC people. Was back then because we really didn't kind of have any. We hired on. Fuck. My brain. I'm trying to think of who
Clockwork Orange was the only IRC guy that we added after I was there. When I got there, Zuzu and Firebolt were already part of it.
Yeah, Zuzu and Firebolt were with us around that time, and they had always kind of been.
They made the bots, so.
Right. And actually, our guy Pwn, you know, Pwn3 or whatever, I haven't seen in a while, but he had our bot that was the swag counter, which was the very particular bot that we had back in the day. You know, when I was running it, I don't remember he wasn't really ever staff, but he was always around and he ran that bot, and fucking we had it for swag and it was great. But we ended up having this was before CTV, so I'm just kind of thinking radio size before Legro and all those guys joined us. It was before, actually, Bronyville and CC and GCC.
They happened about 2 months after
BronyCon. They were after BronyCon. They were a little bit after BronyCon. We added them. And I'm feeling bad because I know there's other people. Oh, Spiton, I think, we added around that time too, wasn't it? Like in the sort of the summer.
If it didn't require completely backtracking, which we're going to avoid because we don't have too much time left, we totally forgot to fucking mention MLI, I think.
No, I mentioned MLI briefly. But MLI, cool guy.
Yep. Fanfic writer and reader.
Yeah, totally cool. Wrote some of the funniest shit that we've really kind of aired on CR, including the
Ultimate Shamrock of Ultimate Shamrockery.
That's definitely, if you guys fucking don't know what that is, I swear to God, we'll put it in some kind of fucking show notes and have the link to that. But just look up CR's Ultimate Shamrock of Ultimate Shamrockery. I know it's on our YouTube. You can just kind of search for it. I read that on air, and it was the most fucking hilarious thing ever that he wrote. As well as his random cop stuff that he wrote that I read on air. YOLO. But yeah, and so, you know, kind of all of that really is what led us into BronyCon and having, you know, all of that stuff going on there. And really, that was our first big move of where, you know, at the time I had said, we need to, looking at Everfree Network and seeing all that stuff, that I said we need to start doing this news thing a little bit more, because I want us to be able to do that aspect with the radio side of things. Because I really, you know, from the get-go, when I looked at CR, I knew it had the potential really to be that radio station. Because as far as I know, we're really the only, you know, station or network that has people who work professionally or have worked professionally in the business of doing radio, and having the great shows, having the best up-to-date music, keeping in contact with the musicians, as well as doing news coverage, doing spots, which we did brilliantly, in my opinion, at BronyCon. It wasn't, you know, the most ideal situation. It wasn't the best, but as far as authenticity, you know, as far as authenticity goes, it was very, very close to how you would have it done, you know, from a real radio station doing coverage. and not being TV at the time.
I mean, that's all you can really... I mean, there was a solid, day where Everfree shit was all broken because there was no internet, and we were the only ones that were capable of broadcasting. So that was kind of an ego boost for us, for sure. And let's see, we kind of had... after that, there was the realm of the Pony Toast incident, which is a whole other story that we don't have time for, but that happened. He's now a member of another station. I think he's doing great there, so everyone's happy and dandy. And then we did the 200-hour DJ-a-thon, and that was when some history got made.
Absolutely. We really, and actually the first fundraiser, the first DJ-a-thon we did, in, I think it was spring of, was it the spring? Because Pony Toast was still with us, right? I think it was before BronyCon that we had that, for our first DJ-a-thon. It was like, he wanted to do the 24-hour thing, and, I kind of looked at it and said, okay, well, let's do a little more than 24 hours, because it was for a great cause, right? We had, it's sad to think about, but back then, Kiki was around, and that was kind of our big charity fundraiser thing we wanted to do. And we thought, well, it's time to take CR in an uplifting direction, and really look at what we can do to give back to the community, or at least someone in the community. And so we did that fundraiser then. It was a massive success as far as I'm concerned. We raised, by ourselves, we raised about $3,300. And, we ended up having, Pony Toast went on for 24 hours straight, which was great, and had brought in a lot of new people to the station to listen in. Got a lot of publicity there going into, BronyCon of 2012. And it was all around, freaking fantastic. And that's sort of where we start to see, CR kind of moving in that new direction after I'd taken over, trying to go to more cons, do more things, be all you can be, sort of style of thing. I think we can sort of head into our next break at this point on that note, and we'll bridge into the next episode after the break and talk about some other stuff that's coming up.
Yeah, I mean, we tried to fit it all, but it's impossible, really. There's so much to talk about. We just kind of scratched the surface. So we'll pick up the Celestia Radio history topic next week. We'll try to get some of the newer staff, kind of that second revival of the station. We'll try to get some of those guys on. I'm sure it'll be a great time. But of course, we still got a little bit of time left in the show before we hand it over to the Pixel Perfect Pony Show. So stay tuned for one more commercial break. We'll be right back here on CCF.
Hi, Jeff Burgess here. I'm in a bit of a sword fight at the moment, but I wanted to let you know that you're listening to the greatest radio stream on the high seas, Celestia Radio. You can listen to it anywhere, 24 hours a day, even if you're on a pirate ship during a sword fight. Yarr!
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Over-the-Top Brony Guy.
Mr. Over-the-Top Brony Guy.
You don't care that the show is designed for 5-year-old girls. You've watched every episode.
I love you, Fluttershy.
Your new neighbor just moved in from Soviet Russia. What would Pinkie Pie do?
Communist Party.
We're not whining about Master Link X's channel being taken down. We're complaining. This is whining.
Please make it stop.
So crack open a tall, cold one, Mr. Over-the-Top Brony Guy, because without you, Rainbow Dash would still be a heterosexual.
Mr. Over-the-Top Brony Guy.
Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Ever wonder how the Brony fandom's longest operating radio station has been bringing you all pony all the time since early 2011? Why, it's thanks to you, the listener. Celestia Radio is a completely non-profit station solely operating on the incredibly generous donations we receive from our listeners. Whether you've been tuned in since the start or just listening in for the first time, you're already a part of the CR family. So please, if you have a few bits to spare, toss them our way, so we may continue to not only keep this station running, but make improvements for a better experience for all of you. You can make a donation by heading to our website, ponify.me, and clicking the red donate button in the top right. Thanks in advance, and continue to enjoy Her Majesty's finest Celestia Radio.
Hello, this is Princess Celestia. After a long, trying day, I love to curl up by the fire and listen to Celestia Radio, the best radio station in Equestria. And no, the fact that it shares my name has nothing to do with that at all. Nope, nuh-uh. Celestia Radio. All pony, all the time.
Alrighty, and with that, we are into the last little bit, the closing section of Canterlot Cross-Fade. Holy shit, 2 hours can go by pretty quick, especially when you're talking about, not necessarily your own life, but more or less the past experiences that you've had over, the past 2 to 3 years. Time can fly that quickly. I mean, 2 hours, almost as fast as those 2 years in general.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much to tell. It's like, we'll never hit all of the, tiny stories that are in there, especially at cons. I mean, we can try, but it's difficult. That's why we try and record a lot of that stuff, put it up on the CR YouTube. We've got a lot of our great moments on that YouTube, especially the. I can't wait till we talk about LPU next week. Or next week. That reminds me, by the way, guys, probably we'll have a show next week because I'm going to be down at Brony Fan Fair. So going to be, that's next week. All you should go there. It's in Austin, Texas, from Friday until Sunday. We are special guests there, as well as a lot of other cool people. I think Rena Chain's probably going back. I think Zoya's going back, I'm pretty sure. We've also got some of the people from the show, Matt Hill, Sam Vincent, who all have been practically best friends with by this point, because I've seen him at the last 4 or 5 cons.
Good old Sam.
Good old Sam. And I should find whoever has that fucking bring it down.
Just because. The story of Pinkie Pipe. That's next
story
week.
Of Pinkie Pipe. Yeah, we'll talk about that next week too, for sure. Fucking crazy. But we've got a lot of those, fucking the LPU, the whole gas story. Like, can't wait to tell that next week or in 2 weeks, and all kinds of crazy shit. Fuck. I mean, I would love to get this done in 2. We may need to do 3. I don't even know. Who knows? But by the time we're done with this lovely little history arc thing for CCF, we'll definitely be ready to be talking about Season 4 of Ponies, so look forward to that as we get closer to October. Trying to think what else, but yeah, basically next week we're going to do a part 2 of CR history here on Canterlot Cross-Fade. Try and basically cover everything from the end of BronyCon of 2012 up through, at least LPU, at least through there. So in the next con season, and all that crazy shit, Pony Free Press, all kinds of fun things to be had and talked about there. We'll bring on some more special guests for you guys too, people that can help tell the story from their points of view, and all kinds of cool stuff. So I'm pretty excited about it. I don't know if there's any other particular stories you can think of that we'll be talking about, hopefully next week. Some fun tidbits for them to look forward to.
They just kind of come as you keep talking, and then, that branches off of that branches off of that, and then suddenly you're like, fuck, we just talked about like 3 weeks worth of things, and we still have another year to go. Fuck. That's kind of the dilemma here.
That's kind of the thing, really. It is because that's particularly my style of speech, is to just like start on one point, act like I'm going to follow a chronology, and then just like totally fuck that up, go off to the side, come around in this weird winding circle, and then land back on the end of the same subject that was like 5 minutes worth of material spread out into 2 hours. And
that beautiful little tangent about jobs that we had with Karai earlier.
That was pretty funny and random. Didn't even intend for that to happen, but hey, that's why we're bringing back Raging with the Rock, hopefully, so that I can get into some of that shit without clogging the pipes of other shows. Because, sometimes topics get brought up and I gotta fucking talk about it right goddamn then, or I forget what I'm gonna say and I lose it and it pisses me off. So I'm not one of the types to write down what I want to say, I just like fucking have to say it as I'm saying it. So definitely that. And we have some pretty stellar stuff on Sundays. Why don't we just do kind of a quick, for those listening on Hoof Sounds or new people to the station, let's just kind of give a quick roadmap of what our Sundays are like and what kind of shows we got throughout the week.
Well, actually, we have a great Sunday schedule. Basically, whatever part of the world you live in, you can tune in and not have to wait more than an hour to catch a live show on Sundays. Is definitely our most stacked day. Getting things starting in the morning at midnight UTC, we have Zlurb's Excellent Show, which is a great little funny show that he does on and off, but it's mostly just a request show. Actually, there's not too much music going on the Sunday show, so that's actually great if you're interested in sending in some listener requests. Zlurb's Excellent Show. There's the League of Extraordinary Bronies, which is a great kind of IRC, very centered kind of show that we have. Ragnoth from the Netherlands spearheads that one with a whole bunch of awesome special guests that we have from the IRC, followed by our resident British DJ Silence. He has loud beats and silent Brit every Sunday, and immediately following him there is our newest DJ from Canada, DJ Cloudbolt, with his fantastic show Personal Pony Time. He does music and kind of just advice about life in general. And, of course, after that we have the main show itself right now, Canterlot Cross-Fade, and really another fantastic show that you can catch right after this. And I'm talking right after is the Pixel Perfect Pony Show. It's mostly spearheaded by the creative minds of Allegro and Darkman, and they kind of have these rotating guests that will come in and out every week. They tend to pick from the same pool of about 5 guys, I'd say, but it's an absolutely great show. They cover tons of stuff in the pony world and the non-pony world. It's really just an overall general great show. Some more talk radio coming at you right after this. And, of course, go to our website. You can check out our schedule on ponify.me. That is our website. There's a whole bunch of listen-in links. There's a donate link up in the top right. Of course, all donations are always very much accepted and very much appreciated. After all, we are a completely non-profit station. And with that, I guess I've really said my piece. It's more or less time for the outro. Sham, you want to go ahead and say farewell for the week?
Absolutely. Great to have you guys listening in. Don't forget, every single week on Sunday, Canterlot Cross-Fade, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's 7 Eastern, and midnight for all of you lovely European folk that go by GMT time. Had a fun week this week. Next week, again, we're going to be Brony Fanfare, so we're not going to have the show. We'll be back the week after that with our second part of CR History here on Canterlot Cross-Fade.
This shit's divine. It's like the singing of fucking angels. Shouts out to Clever Pony. Shouts out to Pinkie Pie Swear for the beat. What up? Actually, I changed it a little bit. Yo, this joint's called, Pony Swag.
Did you enjoy the show? Want to catch even more batshit antics next week? Well, tune in next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another installment of Canterlot Cross-Fade with host DJ KBrony and DJ Shamrock. Only here on Celestia Radio.